guys, welcome to something new. This is the Decameron, and it was started by rsmalec, and let me just go over what this is. So several people are playing in the same world, kind of like MHC, just regular survival Minecraft, no hardcore or anything like that, and we are telling stories. So this is all based on the Decameron by Boccaccio, and it was a book written in 1352, I think. Let me see. 1352, that's what I have written down. I read up about it a little bit. So yeah, it was written in 1352, right after the Black Death hit Florence, Italy, and it is a story about stories, basically. It's a story about 7 women and 3 men who left Florence, Italy during the Black Death, and they went to the neighboring town of Fiesole, and while they were there, they stayed in a little villa, and they told stories every night. So it's kind of like 1001 Nights, except they were only there for 2 weeks. So each night, well, almost each night, for 10 of those nights, each one of them told a story. So by the end of the 2 weeks, there were 100 stories. And of course, they took off 2 days for the holy days and 2 days for chores. So that adds up to 14 days. And 100 stories. So, what we're doing in Minecraft is we are telling stories, and we have a full Minecraft day to tell a story. Now, I have a story that I actually wrote while I was in Italy, but I don't have it. I don't know what happened to it. I think it's written in a notebook somewhere in storage. So I'm going to have to tell a different story. So, and try to survive the night in Minecraft. But, you know, it's survival, regular survival. I should be able to do it. So, yeah. With this challenge, we have to tell our story before the 20 minutes is up. And, once 10 people have told a story, then it moves on to the next day, and it will last for, I'm assuming, 10 days, just like the Decameron. So I read up a lot about this, and I have some stuff that I will talk about if I do later episodes. We'll just see how that goes, and I may have a possible build to work on, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do the whole thing. We'll just have to see. But basically, we try to survive and tell stories, and I can't destroy any of the buildings in the town, but I guess I can raid this blacksmith, right? Okay, nice, a diamond. Okay, so we have a sword, we have some pants, very, very nice. All right. So I guess I should get into my story. I debated whether, well, I was debated on what I should tell, and Ron said that it could be a Minecraft story or it could be a real life story. So I'm going to tell a real life story. So, and I'm going to try to do stuff while telling it. I'm not good at telling stories and playing the game at the same time, as you will probably be able to tell very quickly. Luckily, I have like 15 more minutes, so maybe I can pull a story out of there somewhere. Let's go ahead and get that started. Ugh, I guess I'll take this with me. Come on. Okay, so my story. Back in 2006, I got my very first apartment. I got my very first job also, which is why I got my very first apartment, because I was one of those weird people who stayed in a dorm the whole time that is not what I need. Stayed in a dorm the whole time they were in college. And so I graduated college and I got a real job. And, ooh, okay. And when I got a real job, I had to get an apartment. And I did. And my apartment was in a fairly old building. It was built in the 1920s. And the plumbing was not the best. Yeah, definitely not the best. Plumbing wasn't very good. And there was no like central air or anything like that. We had to, just window units. So that's what I had to use, a window unit to keep my apartment cool. So, yeah, very, well, I keep saying very, but I guess the 1920s isn't that old. It's a lot older than me, but you know, I don't want to offend anyone. Not that I think anyone here watching this was born in the 1920s. That would be really weird if that were the case. But yeah, moving on. So it was a rather old building, and occasionally there were animals that got into the apartments and into the building. The main thing, I don't think I ever had any mice there or any rats or anything like that. The main thing was squirrels. So squirrels would get into the apartment building, and they kind of lived in the attic, and I lived on the second floor, which was the top floor, and I could hear them scurrying above me in the attic. And that was really fun, especially when they chewed a hole in my ceiling and I had to put tape over it. I had to basically duct tape my ceiling so that squirrels wouldn't come in and peek down in the ceiling at me as I, you know, slept in bed or whatever. It was a very small apartment. It was just a studio apartment. So it was basically one room, a rather giant closet, or I guess it was technically a room, but I used it as a closet, a kitchen, which was actually really large, and a bathroom. And that was it, basically. So I didn't have a couch in there. All I had was my bed, and I used it as a couch. When I first got the place, I had a futon, so I could fold it out, you know, as a bed and use it to sleep on, or I could use it as a couch. So eventually that broke, and actually, no, I don't need that. I can go back to the village. So eventually that broke, and I had to get like a regular bed. Don't worry, I am going somewhere with this story. It just takes me a while. I'm trying to bide my time, because it's not even dark yet. So, yes, that, gosh, there are so many horses. So that was my apartment. Kind of crappy, but I liked it, and it had character. The building had character, and there were actually paintings on the walls, like murals. Somebody had painted murals on the walls of the hallway, which was pretty cool. But anyway, it was a rather cheap apartment, so that was the main reason I got it, and it was very close to where I worked, so that worked out for the best. Now, I need to cook up some potatoes. So let me go over here and start that first. I'll just do a few of them. Okay, sun is about to go down. Okay, so squirrels. We had squirrels. But squirrels were not the only things that were roaming around in our apartment building. We also had bats. You see, like I said, we didn't have central air. We had window units, so there wasn't really a good way to keep the hallways cool. So in the summer, we would keep some of the doors propped open in the hallways. And that was just kind of to let some of the cool breeze through and cool down the hallways so that you wouldn't have to walk out from your apartment and walk down the hallways in sweltering heat during the middle of summer, because that can be kind of annoying. Do you want to go inside somewhere? I should probably like get away from you guys, right? I guess I should. Hold on one second. Let me finish cooking this, and then I'm going to take this. So I'm sorry. Okay. I'm taking this with me. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to try to get away from here so that you guys don't die. I hope you appreciate this. Okay, so I need to get underground or something. Yay, the zombies are already out. Wonderful. Maybe I should have stayed in that cave. Is there another cave somewhere? Like maybe... What is this? It's a cave. Okay, I'll go in here. This is good. This will do. I'll get back to my story in just a second. Let's just light it up a little bit. Oh, great, there's nothing. Awesome. This is a wonderful cave. So yes, we had to open the doors and prop them open so that we could keep the hallways cool. The only problem with that is occasionally bats would get into the apartment building. And when they got in, they would stay in. So sometimes, some mornings, I would wake up and get ready to walk out and go to my car so that I could drive to work, and I would see a bat just hanging from the ceiling, or a bat huddled in the floor, and I used to take pictures of them because they were really cute. I'm sorry, I see a cute animal and I have to take a picture of it. So yeah, I don't know, they were kind of adorable, so I would take pictures of them. The problem was that very rarely they could get into your apartment. Not just into the building, but into your actual apartment. So I did not realize this until one day one of them came into my apartment. And I freaked out. And as soon as I saw it, it flew. I think I was just watching TV. It flew across the living room. And it flew toward the kitchen. And when it flew toward the kitchen, I jumped up off of the bed and I ran into the bathroom and closed the door because I didn't want it anywhere near me. Because, hey, it might have been cute, but you never know. Those things can have rabies. So I ran away. And I closed the door and I immediately started texting people asking, how do you get a bat out of an apartment? Because I didn't know what to do. This is the first time that I'd ever encountered something like that. So I had some interesting suggestions, one of which was to blast music and hope that it flew out the door. I would have to open both of the doors that I had, because I did have a little balcony on in my apartment, so I had like a little back door. So yeah, blast music, open the doors, and hope that it flew out, trying to get away from the music. So I tried that with some AC/DC and it didn't really do anything. Another suggestion that I had was to basically become its arch enemy, and I would just have Batman in my apartment forever. But I didn't really like that one that much. That was not very helpful. And then, of course, my mom, I believe it was, told me that maybe I could, if I found it, I could throw a towel over it and bundle it up in the towel and get it out that way. So that's what I did, which meant that I had to get really close to this thing, but ouch. But it worked, and I happened to see it in, oh no, this is bad. I happened to see it in the kitchen floor, and it was just sitting there. So I grabbed a towel and I threw the towel over it and I bundled it up just as suggested. And I took it out onto the balcony and I kind of shook the towel, and it didn't want to let go. And eventually it did. It had its little claws stuck in there at first, but eventually it let go and everything was fine. So I got rid of the bat and, you know, things were good. Fast forward a couple of years, probably. I stayed there for 4 years. So fast forward, oh, maybe it was just like 1 year. I'm not really sure. I had just started dating Kevin. And if you don't know, Kevin is now my ex-husband. So we had just started dating, and he decided, well, actually, I think we had been out at the bar, because we met at a bar. Oh, well. We met at a bar, and we had been out at the bar together. And there's a baby zombie after me. This is not good. So we had been out at the bar together. And we had been drinking a little bit, and he came back to my place, and we watched a movie, and we were kind of cuddled in bed because I didn't have a couch. So, you know, hey, that's how you get the guys. You have to not have a couch, have only a bed in your apartment, and then they have to cuddle with you in a bed. This is terrible advice, by the way. So we were watching a movie, and we both fell asleep. So we were asleep in my bed, and the TV was still on because, you know, it was the middle of the movie when we fell asleep. Ooh. And I kind of woke up because I heard something. And it was one of those times when you're just half awake. You're not really sure if you're completely awake, but I heard something. And I thought, well, that sounds weird. So I opened my eyes, and when I did, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something fly by, hit the wall, and fall down. And of course, it looked like a bat. So I jumped up, and Kevin was asleep. So I shook him awake and said, I think a bat just flew into the wall and fell down behind the bed. And he said, you're dreaming? And he didn't believe me. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure I was awake. You know, so maybe we should check. Can you help me check and see if there's a bat somewhere in my apartment? So he got up, and we started looking around, and we even took like the comforter off of the bed. Oh no, I'm not gonna have enough time to finish. Took the comforter off the bed, and he kind of shook it and everything, and he still didn't see anything. And then he decided, well, I think you just dreamed it, even though I knew I hadn't. So he got back into bed, and I was about to get into bed with him when he screamed like a woman and jumped out of the bed and said, oh, wait a minute, is this a different village? Yes, that's exactly what it said. And he said, it touched my foot! And he just kind of stood there, and I looked, and he had kicked the bat into the floor. It had been apparently tangled in the sheets. He had kicked the bat into the floor, and I had to do my towel method to get it out. And he had to go smoke a cigarette after because it freaked him out so much. So he was like, I have to go smoke a cigarette. And after that, he never stayed at my apartment again. Yeah. So that was my bat story. And the moral of that story is, when your girlfriend says, I think there's a bat in my apartment, you should probably believe her. Honestly, you should probably just believe her all the time. Yeah. Good rule of thumb for you. All right. So that was my story. It may have been kind of stupid, but there you go. That's my story. The story of the bat in my apartment. And the sun is up, so that means it is the next day, and I will see you guys maybe in day 2, whenever that is. Till then, bye!